She hugged a stranger to avoid her ex. She didn't know he was a billionaire who'd fall for her. People in the crowded train station thought she knew him. They thought the way she threw her arms around him was a reunion, a lover's embrace, a joyful collision of two hearts. They didn't know it was fear. They didn't know she didn't even know his name. And they certainly didn't know that the man she grabbed, out of pure instinct, was a billionaire who had been waiting his entire life for someone to look at him not like a billionaire. Amira had always prided herself on being the kind of woman who could rebuild her life no matter how many times the world forced her to start over. But that afternoon, when she stepped into the train station after months of fighting for peace, something inside her cracked. She saw him. Her ex, Saad. The man she had spent 2 years trying to leave behind, physically, emotionally, spiritually. He was the storm she had survived, and seeing him again pulled her straight back into the wreckage. He hadn't seen her yet. But one glance would be enough. She knew his voice, his steps, his habits, and she knew he would come to her, like he always did, acting like the past was just a misunderstanding. Her heartbeat felt like it was clawing out of her chest. She turned sharply, desperate for an escape, but the station was packed. People moved in waves. And above it all, Saad's head began rising from the crowd as he turned. No, not again. Her eyes scanned frantically, just anyone, someone to hide behind. And that's when she saw him. A tall man in a charcoal coat, standing alone as if untouched by the chaos around him. His posture steady, his gaze distant, like someone lost in thought. Something about him felt safe. Without thinking, without planning, Amira walked straight to him, then wrapped her arms around him as if they'd known each other their entire lives. His hands instinctively came up in surprise, but he didn't push her away. Instead, he steadied her with a calm strength. "Please," she whispered against his shoulder, her voice trembling. "Just pretend you know me." For a moment, the stranger didn't move. Then, gently, he placed a hand on her waist. "I do," he said softly, making it sound unbelievably real. "I know you." Saad walked by without noticing them, too close for comfort, but he didn't stop. Didn't look. Didn't recognize her. Only when the danger passed did Amira finally pull away, breathless, embarrassed, but overwhelmingly relieved. "I'm so sorry," she blurted out. "I didn't mean to, I just." "It's okay," the stranger said, his voice calm and warm. "You're safe." Amira didn't realize how badly she needed to hear those words until that moment. She nodded, still shaky. "Thank you. I just couldn't let him see me. Someone you don't want to see. Someone I never want to see again." He studied her for a quiet moment. Not with judgment, not with curiosity, but with a rare kind of patience, as if he understood more than she'd said. "Well," he finally said with a gentle smile, "I'm Alex." "Amira, do you want to sit for a minute? You look like you rushed through a hurricane." A faint laugh escaped her, unexpected, shaky, but real. It felt like one. They sat on a bench near the platform. The noise of the station buzzed around them, but for some reason, sitting beside Alex felt oddly peaceful. He didn't pry. He didn't push her to explain. He just offered a quiet presence, the kind people rarely give without expecting something back. Amira noticed then, his watch looked expensive. His coat was tailored. His shoes were polished. But he wore everything with an ease that didn't scream status, only simplicity. She wondered who he was. Fate works in layers, some soft, some sharp. And fate had no intention of letting their story end at the train station. The next morning, Amira walked into her workplace, the Arya Foundation, a small nonprofit that offered legal help to women escaping abusive situations. She'd been working there for only 3 weeks, and every day felt like a battle to rebuild herself. But that morning, the office was buzzing. "Did you hear? The donor is coming today." "Which one?" "The new one, the major one. Apparently he's some billionaire investor." Amira didn't think anything of it. Donors came and went. Wealthy people showed up, gave speeches, took photos, left. But when she walked into the meeting room carrying a stack of reports, her breath stopped. He was there. Alex. The stranger from the train station, standing beside the director, smiling politely as they spoke. For a moment, Amira wondered if she was dreaming. But then Alex's gaze lifted, and he froze. Recognition flashed in his eyes, followed by something warmer. Softer. Something he tried, unsuccessfully, to hide. He excused himself from the director and walked over. Amira. Her name in his voice hit differently. Grounded. Gentle. You're the donor, she whispered. He lifted a shoulder modestly. One of them. I try to keep things low profile. Low profile wasn't a word people usually associated with someone worth over $7 billion, but she didn't know that yet. You didn't tell me yesterday. You didn't tell me you worked here. Fair point. A small smile tugged at his lips, and despite herself, Amira smiled back. Over the next 3 months, Alex became part of the foundation's rhythm. He attended meetings quietly, always listening more than he spoke. He donated generously, but never demanded credit. He helped fix internal systems, offered insight, connected the foundation to valuable networks. But his connection with Amira, that was something else entirely. It started with small conversations, quick greetings, shared coffee breaks, light banter. Then came longer talks, discussions about healing, about boundaries, about rebuilding when life has cracked you open. Alex never pushed her, never tried to fix her. He just made space for her to breathe. He treated her like she mattered, something Saad never did. And slowly, Amira felt her walls soften. Still, she kept her guard up. She couldn't risk choosing wrong again. One afternoon, during a community event, Alex approached her as she sat alone under a tree. You avoid letting anyone get close, he said gently. But you don't push me away. Why? She looked down at her hands. Because you feel steady. Like when I hugged you in the station, my body knew something before my mind did. A quiet tension filled the space between them. Amira, he said softly, I want to know you. Not because of what you've survived, but because of who you are. But you don't know everything. Then tell me. So she did. Everything. The manipulation. The fear. The months of trying to leave. The night she finally ran. The guilt. The shame. The rebuilding. He didn't look away. Not once. And when she started crying, he didn't touch her, not until she reached for him first. Healing is rarely smooth. You don't step out of trauma and immediately fall into love without stumbling along the way. The first stumble came when Saad found her workplace. He showed up shouting her name, demanding to talk, insisting she owed him closure. Amira froze. The world narrowed. Her breath stuttered. But before she could react, Alex stepped between them. Leave, he said, voice calm but steely. She doesn't owe you anything. Saad laughed. Who the hell are you? I'm the man who'll make sure you never come near her again. His voice was soft, but the threat beneath it, a quiet, unshakable certainty, made even Saad stop. Security arrived. Saad was escorted out, and for the first time in years, Amira didn't feel powerless. 3 weeks later, she knocked on Alex's office door. I've been thinking, she said, stepping inside. He set his pen down, giving her his full attention. I spent 2 years trying to be brave alone, she continued. But maybe life gives us people who help us be brave with them. He stood slowly. Amira, he whispered. She stepped closer. I'm scared. I won't pretend I'm not. But I trust you. And that scares me too. He smiled, a slow, warm smile that reached his eyes. We don't have to rush. We can build this gently. That's what I want, she said. Something gentle. Something real. Alex reached for her hand, not demanding, not assuming, but offering. She took it, and for the first time in years, she felt like she was stepping towards something instead of running away. Their relationship didn't become legendary because he was a billionaire. It became legendary because he taught her that safety and love could exist in the same place, something her heart had forgotten long ago. And because she taught him that being truly seen, without wealth, without reputation, without walls, was worth more than all the money he had. Their story wasn't built on the hug that started it. It was built on every moment afterward where they chose each other. Chose healing, chose patience, chose love. And years later, when people asked how they met, they laughed. Because they knew the real answer. Sometimes, the universe hides your future in the arms of a stranger. And gives you the courage to reach for him before you even know his name.